Okay, so a couple days ago, I watched the final episode of The Owl House. And now that it's done, I want to make a 3-part video. Not like, okay, like the video is divided into 3 segments. Not like I'm going to spend a 20-minute video and then do another 20-minute video. So the first segment, and this is going to be full spoilers the entire way through. The first part of the video is I'm just going to be talking about the episode itself, the things I liked, the things I didn't like, some of the really memorable scenes, etc., etc. Second part of the video, sorry, there were 3 fingers up, let me move my thumb. Second part of the video, I am going to be talking about Season 3 as a whole, giving my overall view and thoughts on it. Third part of the video is, this is my current thoughts on the show. I don't want to say these are my final thoughts, because it's an opinion. My opinion can always change. After thinking about it more, I might like the show more. I might like the show less. If I rewatch the show, again, I might like it more. I might like it less. But now that the show is ended, these are kind of my parting thoughts a couple days after, again, ruminating on the final episode. So starting off, the first thing I have to say is that for the most part, I think the pacing of the finale is really good. There are a couple scenes or just kind of moments or ideas. Sorry, I got this little bit of hair getting in my face. I need to get a haircut soon. But there are a few things that I felt could have been better explained, and they probably would have if either this episode had more time or the entire season had more time. Like the world in between where Luz goes to after she dies and meets the spirit of the Titan. This is something that we have seen in previous episodes. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we ever saw it in season 1. I know we for sure saw it once or twice in season 2. But it's not really explained how she gets there or how the Titan is able to exist. I guess the Titan is still not dead, but it's like a purgatory, but it seems like Luz isn't, like she's dead, but the Titan is only mostly dead, but I guess the Titan used his magic to keep her from going dead, and then gives her magic so she can come back and be fully alive. It's, again, like, I get the gist of what's going on, but I feel like it, I guess let me put it like this. It's not, man, this is really fucking confusing. It's just more of, I wish it was like better explained how this actually worked, because it feels a little bullshitty, but I'll give it a pass because I understand the just kind of behind the scenes real bullshit that was going on. The other thing is the collector. The scene where they're playing like marbles and Pac-Man and shit with him is fun. And I get that they're able to kind of show him that, like, no, this is not how you actually make a friend. This is not how you get someone on your side. You don't coerce them. You don't mind control them. It takes understanding. It takes forgiveness. Because you will make mistakes in your friendship. Your friends will make mistakes in your friendship. But you've got to be able to fight through it. And not to say that everything or everyone can be or even should be forgiven. But that's a case-by-case basis, and it's something you need to work on. And then after that, I think it's not that I'm like, man, he turned way too quickly, this is awful. It was something I was like, I buy this, but I feel like, again, if there had been a few more episodes, I think it would have felt a little more natural to me. So let's see. Go. Yeah. So like that's kind of my first note. The second note is just at the start of the episode, you get all the nightmare sequences. Luz's in particular, I think, is really good. I love that she's just wearing Belos's outfit during that scene. Which, yeah, I guess let's kind of go ahead and talk about that. The part where she is talking to King's dad, and she's like, am I just like Belos? Are you and I just like Belos? You know, he is someone who, his motivation is, I want to save humanity because witches are evil. I want to save the soul of the people. And this is what I have to do it. And I want to save my family. That is both my mom, that is Ida and King, that is my whole Hexside squad. They're all my family. And I know I would do anything to keep them safe. Are he and I really not that different? I mean, he's the, aside from my mom, Excuse me. Aside from my mom, who, I don't know, just got here like yesterday. He and I are the only two humans to ever live in the Boiling Isles. And with all the shit he's done, am I really... Can I honestly say I'm incapable of doing the same things? And I remember I was talking to Clay about it, and he's like, I just didn't buy that. I don't think that really makes sense for her character. I'm like, I disagree. I feel like the moment Luz realized how Bellows learned, or that Philip and Bellows were the same person, and that she helped him find the collector, she was helping him with glyphs, because of timey-wimey bullshit. I don't want to say bullshit, because no, it fully made sense, but just like timey-wimey shenanigans. I think that's a better term. She has felt this immense sense of guilt, and realizing that, oh, every shitty thing can be traced back to me. And if my friends knew what I was responsible for, they would all hate me, and they should all hate me. So her having that conversation with Papa Titan made a lot of sense to me. And so did Papa Titan's response, which was, no, you're nothing like Bellows. Bellows will say whatever he wants about how I'm doing this for humanity, I'm a good person. But he's not. He's selfish. He just wants to be the hero, and he will concoct whatever story in his mind that he needs to be the hero. The things that he is willing to do are for his benefit and no one else's. The things you are willing to do are for the benefit of others. You are a good person, Luz. Bellows isn't. This is not someone you should try and negotiate with. This is not someone you should try to make peace with. You've made a lot of friends along your journey. You have a lot of compassion. Bellows deserves none of that. Which, yeah, like, I love how they convince the collector that, yeah, friendship, it takes kindness and understanding. And so he tries that with Bellows, and boy, it does not work. Like, as soon as, like, the collector was rushing up to Bellows, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where this is going, and it was wonderful. So what Bellows is up to in the episode, the Goop Man himself, so he possesses Rain, uses Rain's body to get close to the heart of the Titan. Then, in his goop form, he possesses the heart of the Titan. So Bellows becomes the fucking Boiling Isles. And his form, it's this, like, skeletal Godzilla dragon thing. It's like a skeleton, it's full of eyes. Like, I can best describe it as Godzilla, the Colossal Titan, and, like, Skull Greymon all in one creature. And I think it looks so cool. He actually has a fucking atomic breath, too. I loved Evil Dragon Bellows. I mean, let me just say, like, the entire finale looks fantastic. There's so many scenes where I'm like, oh, this looks so pretty. The animation here is so good. That's so good. But whenever they're focusing on this nasty-ass thing, wonderful. So, the Titan gives Luz his remaining magic, so he does die. This gives Luz, essentially gives her life back so she can go fight Bellows, but also gives her a temporary power boost, and she has this new form that, to me, it's kind of like a combination of King because Titan, but it also looks kind of like Ida's Owl Lady form, and I kind of dug that. I honestly think the final fight with Bellows was kind of boring. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not boring, but disappointing. Because when the Titan is telling her, like, okay, you're going to get, like, all of my power, a limited amount of time, so kill him quickly. But you're going to be able to do crazy shit. I was expecting insanity. That she was going to be, like, calling meteors. She was going to be teleporting around. She was going to, like, be throwing stars or, like, whatever insanity. And it was very just kind of like making beams, like, all right, I'm going to twirl my staff in a circle and make a barrier or, like, make a blast. Like, it was still cool. But it wasn't as visually interesting as I was hoping it would be. But yeah, her yelling, what was it, like, take this, sucka, and then just, like, fucking rips him out of the thing. Like, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Let's see. Go. Go. Sorry, just gotta check my notes. Okay. So the only other things to really say about the episode, let me try that. The only things to really say about the finale itself, Bellows' last scene, where he was back to looking like Philip, and he's trying to make that plea to Luce, like, Luce, you did it. I'm free. I was possessed by dark magic. It was so powerful. It made me do those terrible things, but I'm free now. You saved me. Thank you. And she's just quiet. Doesn't believe a word he's saying, just staring at him. And then the boiling rain comes down, and it starts hurting him, and it, like, burns and melts away his skin, so he turns back into the goop monster, and he's crawling towards, like, you'll be just as horrible as the witches, just as violent, just as wretched. We're humans, Luz. We have to work together. And then Rain, Ida, and King show up. He yells, well, we ain't human. And then they all just collectively fucking stomp him. Like that JoJo meme of, like, Narancia and Mista kicking the shit out of the dude. Abakio drinks the wine and then starts kicking the shit out of him, too. That's basically what happened. So, like, we see that. I tell Clay, because he said to the computer, like, can you remind that real quick? So we see them stomp Bellows again, and then we get to Rain saying, that is immensely satisfying. Like, yes, you are correct. Incredibly, impeccably satisfying. There were so many times during the finale, like, Bellows would do anything. I'm like, fuck this guy. I love Bellows. I sincerely love this character. But I love how much I hate him, and it was so satisfying to see him get fucking stomped like a fucking Goomba. So I loved that shit. The ending montage was nice. The post, like, time skip and everything, I liked it. I felt that overall the finale was very satisfying. It was very emotional. And speaking of the emotions, I cried twice. It was... The first time was seeing Ida and King reacting to Luz dying. And how they're just quiet. It is this stunned silence on both of their faces. And then they immediately go to fucking kill Bellows. And it's Ida just also saying, like, I don't think I can control myself. I loved that. The second time I cried was during the montage at the end of the episode. Very specifically... the group hug, fucking getting emotional already, as the group hug between Luz, her mom, and Ida and King, that got me. I was like, yeah, there it is, bring it in. Like, I knew I was gonna cry. I knew I was gonna cry multiple times. You fucking got me, show. Good shit. I personally do think it is a very good finale. I think... like, with a little bit of better... I don't want to say, like, man, like, this needed to be better paced. I think under the circumstances, it is magnificent. In a full season, I think some of my, like, smaller problems would have been fixed. But I think it was a really good send-off for the show. So moving on to the final season as a whole, just... I mean, I would clap... but I only, you know what, let me do a snap, because I can do that with one hand. I can do that with one hand. My fucking applause, hats off to Dana Terrace and the rest of the crew for pulling this season off. Because when I heard what was going to happen, it's like, yeah, instead of a third season, you get 2 45-minute movies and, like, a third one that's, like, 50 minutes. There you go. Conclude your fucking show. Like, that sucks. That's awful. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. And they did. I do think the first episode... I remember watching the first episode of the season and going, some of the pacing's kind of wonky. Like, definitely when they're doing that scrapbook scene in the beginning, you're like, okay, these... 100%, this would have been like a few episodes. This maybe would have been like the first third... Excuse me, this probably would have been like the first third of the season or so. And then them going back to the Boiling Isles... I don't know if it would have been the mid-season finale. It maybe still would have been like, this is the first third, and then episode 2 would have been, this is the second third, and then the finale would have been like the last few episodes. But they're in like little moments where I was like, the pacing's a little weird. The pacing's just like a little too quick. But overall, I still thought it was really good. And I don't remember if I cried at the ending of the first episode. I probably did, or I probably got really close. The second episode is my favorite of the season. Arguably my favorite episode of the whole show. Luz's reaction to Kikimora lives in my head rent-free. Just oh no, not you. I laughed so fucking hard at that. It's so perfect. I'm pretty sure I said it in my video too. It's like, it immediately made me think of Final Fantasy X. And the last time you see Seymour, like, don't you ever give up? Like, he's not a threat anymore. He's just annoying. And I love that. I love that Kikimora was just the same status as freaking Seymour. All the shit between Hunter, Gus, and Willow in that episode was fantastic. I remember crying. I think I also cried multiple times watching that episode. Just like losing her mom. That really got me very emotional. There just wasn't a lot of Ida. There's just not a lot of Ida in season 3, which that's a big Oh, that is one thing I do have to say about the finale. Hootie doesn't fucking talk. Hootie does not, I don't think he says anything in the second episode either, so I don't think Hootie talked in season 3. And that's just a fucking problem, Hoot. I love Hootie. I think he's hysterical. So I just hated not hearing him, man. It's like, I get it, there's more important shit. And then when you see King's dad, there's like a little Hootie bug growing out of his eyes. I'm like, is Hootie like way more important and connected than we realize, and they just didn't have time to explain it? I don't know, but I kind of wish it had been explained. I wish he had fucking lines. But regardless, not enough Ida in season 3, not enough Hootie in season 3. I think we do get enough King, because he does a lot in episode 2, and he does some shit in this episode as well. And then, yeah, like this episode, I really like it. I think I probably like season 2 a little bit more than season 3, but I think if season 3 had been a full fleshed out season, that might change. And if I were to rewatch the show, which I am in no rush to do, but I'm not opposed to it. So if I did rewatch it, it's like, this is where it's fully going. Let me, like, I think I'm now knowing where it goes, let's see how much I appreciate it, like how well things are set up and shit. I might like season 3 more. I think season 1 would still be my least favorite, but season 1 is still quite good. So I guess that's kind of a good transition into, let me talk about the show as a whole, my current thoughts on it as we say goodbye. Something I have said several times. I believe I've said it on this channel before, and I know I've said it like to Clay several times as we would watch the show. The Owl House, what I like the 4 big Disney shows, at least to me, Gravity Falls, Amphibia, this, and DuckTales. This is my least favorite. I still like it. I like it a lot. I think it is good, high quality shit. It is my least favorite of the 3. I would like to issue a formal retraction of that statement. Watching this episode made me realize, hold on a second. This might be the best of the 4. I think it has the best antagonist. As I love Cypher. Cypher is so much fucking fun. But I think the problem with Cypher is that he's not in a lot of the first season. He only shows up at the very end, and he appears a couple times in season 3, and then he does, he's a fucking treat. But he doesn't have that consistent presence. Bellows does. As soon as you learn that there's an Emperor of Magic, you're like, at least I was like, this is probably going to be the antagonist. And then, yeah, by the end of season 1, you're like, okay, this guy is the antagonist. And then as the show progresses, you feel that presence, and you just feel that, like, there's something wrong here. And, gosh, the episode when you go into his brain, and the show does not explicitly reveal his backstory with his brother. It's in the background in, like, those fucking paintings. That is so fucking clever, and I love that. Like, on the one hand, it's like, hey, yeah, that's just a really cool way to get forth this exposition, but also almost the fact that it's in the background of Bellows' mind. Because he doesn't want to remember what he did. He doesn't want to admit that I killed my brother. It's still there, but it's in the back, so he can ignore it or remember it differently as it suits his needs. Like, that's so cool. It makes so much fucking sense to me, man. The fact that even when they're doing that, you've got like the little kid Bellows that they think is like, oh, this is his innocence. This is like the good part of him. And no, it's not. Like, this is what's leading you into the trap, because that's who Bellows is. He's a piece of shit. And DuckTales, I mean, magic is fun in season 1. The moon thing, I think it's mid as hell in season. I love season 2. Season 2 of DuckTales is arguably my favorite individual season of any of these shows, but I think its final boss is fine. And then season 3 with Fowl, I do like it, but I don't like it as much as Bellows. And the core from Amphibia's fine. Andreas is great, but I think the core is okay. I think it has the best antagonist. It might have the best supporting cast because of how much I love Willow and Hunter and Gus and Amity. And then the main cast of Luz, Ida, and King, they're just fucking gold. I think the supporting cast of DuckTales is really good. Gravity Falls, I think they're pretty okay. I like Zeus a lot. But I think kind of the rest of the main, the supporting cast is fine. I feel like I like Eden, King. I mean, because I do like Luz too, but to me, Eden and King, are really strong characters. There's an argument for it being the strongest overall cast, too. And, it's just, I don't think it's as funny as Amphibia, but it's still really, really funny. I think the world building is, I don't know if I like the world building quite as much as Amphibia, but at the same time, I don't know if I like the Amphibia world building as much as Owl House. They're very even in that regard, and I don't think I can say this is my least favorite anymore. It really might be the opposite. And I know I've also said of Luz, I think she's fine. I like her character. I don't love her character. But really watching the finale and kind of thinking about it and her whole thing, I just wanted to be understood. It took me going to a whole new world and escaping everything I ever knew to find it. But I found it. And to me, Luz is at her best when she has a big goal, which is why I think season 1 is pretty weak for the most part. But season 2, I think that's when a lot of the glyph experimentation really started happening. It might have happened a bit in season 1, but once she was getting into it, that was a lot of fun. Her obsession with the portal was a lot of fun. Her desire to get back to the demon world so she can fix shit. And then her guilt over knowing I helped Bellows unwittingly, but I still did it, is really good. It's so interesting. And I feel Luz starts off fine, and then she gets really good and really interesting. And I feel that really is kind of what the show is too. And by the end, I realized, because I always knew I really liked it and I loved it, but I realized how much I loved it at the end. And while there is something kind of sad about that, I'm still glad I was able to realize that. And oh god, I am sweating bullets. And I don't know if you can tell, it is fucking hot in my car. It's almost 90 degrees, but here I am. I tried recording in the house, and then partway through the intro, I just hear Jose going yeah, that's awesome! Completely unrelated. I'm what the fuck, Jose? Oh yeah, the other thing I really have to say about how good the show is, I went into the finale expecting to cry multiple times, which is not something I can say about most of the other shows, because this show has consistently gotten me really emotional. It's consistently made me cry. I can't know how much this show fucks me up and then be yeah, it's just not as good. No, there's some weird denial going on there. It doesn't even make sense. Show is fucking goated. Full marks, full recommendation. I absolutely love it. I would highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. And I am genuinely excited to see what Dana Terrace comes up with next.